I'm in this shirt, so you know it's a guess I'm an author episode, right? Uh, skin tone brown. It is a shirt. It is a shirt. I'm not nude from from the waist up. Don't worry. But yes, welcome to the realm of Millenia. I am your host, the MILLENIANmailmen. Here today, bringing you guys and gals information from the realm of Millenia, the book series I'm working on right now as we're probably not speaking, right? While you watch this video, I'm working on my book series on paper, and it's always a fun time, allegedly, right? I'm at 25 subscribers, and I am feeling good today, right? I am feeling so good about it. But, anywho, right? This video, guess I'm an author now. I'll talk about writing books in general. This will be... ow, my legs hurt. Hurt from all the sitting down, dude. I try not to get too comfortable when I'm writing, and my legs are suffering for it because sitting on bar stools is not the way to go for my thighs. It hurts. But anywho, I digress. So today's video will be what it's like writing, because I've had that question asked a good number of times now. No one's asked it in the comments section or through the MILLENIANmailmen at gmail.com yet, but I'm going to answer it in advance, right? A lot of people, when they find out I was an author, I have 5 published books under an alias I'm not sharing with any of you. There's a reason that my government name isn't attached to that alias. I'm not sharing, but I do have 5 published books already. And people want to know what it's like to write a book, right? And the way I describe it is rather consistent all the way through, because the people who generally ask that, I guess, are like trying to find an easy way out. Like they may or may not like writing, but they think writing is such an easier thing than, say, doing an office job, I guess. I'm like, it depends, like really hard, right? It's a hard depends, because I definitely wouldn't say writing novels, at least a decent selling novel, is an easy endeavor per se, not in the slightest, right? So when people ask me what it's like writing, I always ask them, like, what was your highest English literature class, right? Okay, great. You made it past middle school. So you know what writing an essay is like, right? Like, yeah, of course. Okay, perfect. I need you to understand what it's like to write an essay for you to understand how I would describe it. Okay, so imagine you have an essay, much like the end of the school year, you get an essay prompt to get evaluated on your reading and writing classes, your literature, right? You get an essay, you get a prompt, you have 45 minutes to complete this essay, middle, body, conclusion, intro, body, conclusion. Do it, right? It's got to be nice. Do it again, do it over, right? Okay, yeah, that's writing. Yes, that is writing, right? That's the bare bone basics of writing. You got your prompt, which, depending on whatever you're writing, gosh forbid you're doing a small novel or a big one, right? If you're doing a big one, and by big I mean like relatively mid-size, not as big as Harry Potter, right? Just making a book, right? If you're making a book, think of it as writing an essay. You got an essay, except you're not being timed unless you're being funded for it. You're not being timed, and you have to have, let's just say, in between 2,000 and 5,000 words for this essay, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily sound like a lot for a chapter or anything, but to put it into perspective, great. You have an essay, you're basically writing yourself a little script of an essay, right? You got that. Now do that 2-3 more times. That is a chapter, right? You got to make sure these 2-3 essays make sense together, integrate well together, and that's your chapter. I recommend while you're writing that little chapter, you always be a touch schizophrenic. You got to digress at least once or twice from the conversation. It'll help you later on, I promise you. It doesn't make sense to have 1 or 2 little holes in there, but I promise you it helps, right? So you're writing your essay based on the prompt. Let's say you're writing a book on superheroes, right? Your prompt is superheroes. Write those 2-3 essays, which would get you anywhere between like 9,000 and 15,000 words for your chapter. Good ups on you, right? Great. Stay in that pocket. We're just going to reduce it and say there's 10,000 words in your little chapter, right? Solid. Chapter 1, 10,000 words. Now do that 3 essays per chapter for however many chapters are in this book. Some books are as little as 8 chapters long, others as far as 25 to 30 plus chapters. Pick how big of a book you want. Okay, you got 15 chapters. So overall, we're just going to pretend you did no less than 45 essays, right? So you did this 3 essay per chapter good 15 times, right? Remember, amongst those 15 chapters, you got to do the same thing you did with chapter 1. You got to make the essays match and cohesive one after another. Depending on how you want it, it can be chronological or it can be counter chronological. Start from the end, going to the beginning, and this is how we got here. Or start from the beginning, go to the end, or just flip-flop around like we're jumping through time because you love flashbacks or something, right? However you choose to do it, you just need to make sure all of these seamlessly connect well enough that whatever you decide to be the final order of these chapters coming together, it doesn't turn people off, right? It has to be good. So remember, you got 3 essays in 1 chapter. They come together. They make sense. Great. You're doing that 3-4 chapters at a time, connecting it. That's first intro of the book. You do it again 3-4 more times. That's the center of the book. Do it another 3-4 times. That's the conclusion of the book. And you get 1-2 chapters at the very end for the epilogue, right? Or maybe you did the same thing, just 1 chapter introducing the setting, right? But you do a long, big old series of essays that you weave together. And I know you hate essays. I know you do, right? Imagine doing over 50 essays and then being told, make these cohesively come together, abiding by the word count, the sentence structure, and the style. Okay? It's like, oh, that sounds like hell. Okay. Remember, with the books that tend to be reread and the stories, especially fictions, if you wanted to pretend that you were doing a fiction, all of those have something called foreshadowing and Easter eggs. So remember that moment when I told you to mention some random, like, schizophrenic stuff? That plays in. Every chapter, you definitely want to have 1 or 2 random things that you want to use from earlier chapters that you want to be able to use as some sort of prompting for when you're doing later essay chapters for the overarching story to help you tie things in, keep people engaged and connected. Oh, that's significant. That sounds familiar, right? It was so dumb and ridiculous and schizophrenic. How could I possibly forget? I remember when they talked about that. It was so stupid. I can't exactly remember when and where or who exactly said it, but it was so memorable because it was like ADHD schizophrenic vibes right there. And it was in such a weird spot in the book. I definitely remember it, but maybe I don't because Mandela effect. I don't know, right? But I always would say, like, hey, if you want to play pretend, throw in a little nugget here, like schizophrenic here and there, like at least 2-3 times in the chapter. Because when you do your review and you go back, you can always delete it if you never ended up using anything with it. But it's hard sometimes to add in an Easter egg and a foreshadow if you didn't leave a placeholder to help you with it. Because those random schizophrenic moments can be very decent placeholders for moments you could totally add an Easter egg. But it's kind of really hard to but add it in when you go chapter by chapter, making everything perfect. Which is why a lot of authors have a very, very rough first draft, right? Like there's a guideline, there's a rough draft, and then there's the final draft and the review edited draft. And then there's what later gets to the final publishing, and then there's the actual final copy that gets sold off, right? There's multiple drafts, but when you're going through it and you're trying to establish that guideline, or even just you're drafting proposal for the first time you're actually writing through for your book, be it a light novel, a one-off, or a series like the one I'm working on now. That is how I would describe writing a novel. Essay after essay after essay. Make sure to be a little schizophrenic here and there, just so you know a general placeholder for Easter egg or that random thing that doesn't make sense is the future Easter egg. Yeah, when the light turned blue, I knew it was time for yada, 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 yada. That doesn't make sense until 12 chapters later when you realize, oh, he's colorblind. Oh, wait, he's colorblind. And I only really remember that he only ever said one color wrong. Was he looking at the whole world wrong? Yes, he is. Yes, he was. That is the Easter egg I chose to really hype everything off of. He was talking about how he loved how ginger her hair was, but everyone else is talking about this black-haired individual who's committing crimes, but he is constantly with a brunette because he's freaking colorblind. Yes, she was the villain the entire time, but he never understood or knew that she was, despite being with her all the time, because he was either in denial or this or that, because he is colorblind, and despite her showing off all her flaws and even the audience being like, she seems suspicious, she's gotta be the one. No, but she's a ginger. She's a redhead. She's a ginger. It can't be her. It doesn't say she ever did color dye. It never said anything about a wig. They pulled out her hair and they knew it was black. Newsflash, he or she is colorblind. And that's where the big flash in. Like when the traffic light turned blue, that was your biggest clue there, right? And it's just little simple things like that, right? Where that stuff like that can set apart a mediocre or average author from a great one. because the difference between having Easter eggs and not having foreshadowing and Easter eggs can truly be as simple as that, right? Just a little nugget to capture or recapture an audience that might be hesitating and debating whether or not they should be bored by now and not pay attention, right? Yeah, I've just been reading this book, but I don't remember a single word past 5 pages ago. Yeah, I've just been staring at the words pass me by as I flip through the pages. I have no idea what this book is about. And I am like 90 pages in. It's just like, while I look at it, I just randomly get recaptured. Says the word cunt on this page, and I didn't realize this was a book that would talk about cunt, right? I didn't know he was Australian or something. He just recaptures me. I can't put the book down. It's like I'm binge watching Netflix or something. He's got me hooked, but I don't know anything I'm reading about, right? Or it's like, I don't know what this book is about. I'm probably never going to reread it again. I'm going to throw it down and never recommend it to anyone. But it's like, it's a boring book, but I can't throw it away. So I recommend it to you so you can give me the Cliff Notes one day because I really like it. I can't seem to throw it away. So I'll definitely recommend it to you because it's keeping my face out of a electronic device 24 hours a day, right? I love this book. Puts me straight to sleep, right? It's small things between authors and author-like styles, but this is how I would describe it to someone. Like, how is that? How is writing a book? What is writing a book like? I would describe it as writing a bunch of essays and then being forced to crochet them together nicely, right? Because, yeah, there is the regular beloved way of crocheting. It's all one solid color. But then you have the experienced grandmas doing the crochets. They got multiple colors, and you never fully understand it until you see the final finished product. And how did you put a picture like that on a crochet blanket? How'd you do that? It's so bizarre, right? It's the difference between it just being a regular blanket and definitely the blanket made by grandma. She's got all the experience. It's got multicolors. It's got the picture. It's got the design. It's got this logo. Impossibly well done, right? That's the difference between like a regular author and, say, like just a step above and better than some other ones. So me, the way I author and write books, I would describe it as this because I would describe it like this in a way that allows maybe, say, a up-and-coming person who likes writing or wants to write really good for an audience or just an audience of one themselves. They want to write because they like to write. They're making it a hobby. They want to turn it into a career, a long-term thing. It's like you can do it, but one way or another, the way I would describe it is as writing a whole bunch of essays. If you liked writing essays or you felt like you were plenty good at writing essays, I feel like you could be a great book writer. If you could write a good essay, I feel like you could be a great book author if you can manage to continuously do it and make your essays crocheted, sewn into one another, and make it still make sense, right? But hey, that's just me. You're a Millennium mailman, and that's just me being an e-author, I guess, because I'm writing book. I still do pen and paper until I get to putting it in a computer and ready for other people to read it, right? I do all my writing and novels and stuff on pencil and paper, and then pen and paper, get it reviewed, make it so other people can read it, and then I put it online, right? So with this Realm of Millenia book series, I'm writing it in pencil and paper. I'm gonna publish it myself, And amidst me writing it with pencil and paper, I'm going to expose some non-spoiler stuff about the idea and ideas around the realm of Millenia to hopefully build up the hype train for the realm of Millenia, and see where it goes. I don't know. Because regardless of the state of emergency around the world in America nowadays, this is just going to be hopefully just a little slice of happiness, between Tourism Tuesday and my realm of Millenia, my theatrical Thursday, all about the realm of Millenia characters, to the songbook Sundays where I get into doing just a vibes check with music and stuff like that of that nature. But yes, I digress yet again. That's just me, your Millennium Mailman. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like, comment down in the comment section down below. Reach out to me at MILLENIANmailmen@gmail.com, or share the video to give the channel and the video more exposure. Subscribe if you feel like. Dislike the video if you don't. I don't fault you and take no offense by it at all. But by all means, peace, love, happiness, and all the best of things to you. Bye-bye. I said bye-bye.